My footsteps rustled through the underbrush and a tangible sense of solitude pressed upon me. As I ventured deeper, my mind couldn't shake the haunting memories of my late father, a seasoned woodsman who had disappeared within these very woods a decade ago. The incident had left me with a gnawing curiosity and a determination to uncover the truth. I carried his old compass, a fading testament to his unwavering commitment to this land. Each creaking tree and rustling leaf felt like the ghostly echoes of his footsteps, urging me onward. I pushed forward, clutching the worn compass, its fragile needle pointing me deeper into the heart of the wilderness. For hours, I navigated a labyrinth of twisted trees and tangled vines, my heart quickening with every unfamiliar sound. Shadows danced, and eerie whispers of the wind seemed to murmur secrets only the forest knew. It was then that I stumbled upon a clearing, bathed in the soft, ethereal light of the setting sun. At its center lay an ancient, decaying tree, its bark etched with peculiar symbols that sent shivers down my spine. Beside it was a tattered journal, brittle with age. As I gingerly opened it, the words of my father spilled across the pages, recounting his encounters with an enigmatic and elusive creature he called the Forest Watcher. This entity, he believed, had ensnared him, whispering secrets of the woods that led him further into the wilderness, never to return. Unease set in as I realized I had ventured further than my father ever had, and the ominous warnings in his journal, punctuated with cryptic symbols, were a chilling reminder of the dangers that surrounded me. Darkness descended rapidly, and I decided to make camp near the eerie tree, choosing to continue my journey at first light. Night fell, and the forest came alive with a symphony of unseen creatures. My fire crackled, casting eerie, dancing shadows on the gnarled tree trunk. That's when I heard it, a subtle rustling in the bushes, too deliberate to be the wind. My senses were heightened, and my grip on my father's compass tightened. The forest watcher, it seemed, was very real. Shadows moved at the fringes of my vision, and I could sense its presence lurking just beyond the campfire's reach. The strange symbols on the tree seemed to pulsate with otherworldly energy. With an unsettling certainty, I knew the creature was drawing me in, much like it had done with my father. But I was determined not to meet the same fate. I rose, my heart pounding, and scattered the fire's embers, extinguishing the only source of light. I silently retraced my steps, following the fragile needle of the compass back towards the edge of the forest. Hours passed as I eluded the creature, relying on my father's compass to guide me. Dawn broke, and I emerged from the woods, physically and mentally drained but alive. The forest had tried to claim me as it had claimed my father, but my unwavering determination and the lessons he had unknowingly imparted in his journal had saved me from the clutches of the mysterious forest watcher. I knew now that I could never return to those woods, for the trees held ancient secrets and unseen terrors, and I had found the outcome my father had never been granted: escape. The dense woods swallowed me whole as I ventured deeper into the wilderness, the canopy above casting an intricate web of shadows on the forest floor. A sense of isolation pressed down upon me, amplifying the memories of my childhood. You see, my uncle, a solitary and enigmatic man, had vanished into these woods years ago, never to be seen again. The incident had left a profound mark on my family, and I carried with me the same old compass he had once wielded, a link to his ill-fated journey. The rustling leaves and the haunting echoes of my footsteps conjured the ghostly specter of my uncle, who had been lost in these woods. It was my own determination to find closure that pushed me deeper into this foreboding realm. Hours of wandering brought me to a small clearing, where a gnarled tree loomed, its twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. At its base stood a worn journal weathered by time. I opened it cautiously, and my heart sank as I read the entries, each one telling a story of an eerie figure, a tall man with elongated limbs, a haunting presence that had tormented my uncle and driven him deeper into the woods. As the sun descended beyond the horizon, I made the decision to set up camp near the eerie tree, with the chilling stories of the tall man reverberating in my mind. My fire cast eerie shadows on the tree's gnarled trunk, and I couldn't help but feel the weight of the tall man's looming presence, his story etched in the journal's pages. It was then that I heard it, a faint, distant whisper that seemed to slither through the underbrush, too eerie to be the wind. The rustling leaves felt like mocking laughter, and my uncle's journal entries came alive in my mind. The tall man was real, and he was drawing near. Shivers ran down my spine as I realized that I was now the protagonist in my uncle's haunting tale. Shadows seemed to move at the periphery of my vision, and the journal hinted at the tall man's sinister intentions. With fear coursing through my veins, I extinguished the fire, hoping to conceal my presence. The forest fell into darkness, and the eerie silence was broken only by my racing heart. Invisible footsteps approached, and a tall, gaunt figure emerged from the inky blackness, elongated limbs reaching toward the sky. I clung to my father's compass, my only source of comfort in this nightmare. The tall man lurked, a specter of dread and darkness, its gaze penetrating my very soul. Fueled by fear and a desperate determination, I inched away, slowly but surely retracing my steps through the labyrinthine forest. The compass needle trembled, guiding me back toward the edge of the woods. I couldn't let the tall man claim me as he had claimed my uncle. Hours passed, filled with dread, and the first light of dawn finally broke through the trees as I emerged from the forest. My heart raced, and my breath came in gasps, but I was free. The tall man, for now, had been left behind, his dark presence vanquished. My uncle's torment had become my own, but I had found an outcome he never did: the escape from the sinister grasp of the tall man and the closure my family had yearned for. As I looked back at the woods that had haunted my family for generations, I knew that the memory of the tall man and my uncle's disappearance would forever remain intertwined with the deep, haunting woods. A story that would pass down through the generations, a story of darkness, survival, and the will to overcome. The remote woods enveloped me as I ventured deeper into their heart, the tangled undergrowth and towering trees forming a natural labyrinth that seemed to stretch endlessly. This wilderness held a dark secret in my family's history, for it was here that my elder sister, a spirited explorer, had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind countless unanswered questions and a trail of heartache. I clutched the photograph of her that I'd carried throughout the years, her beaming smile a poignant reminder of the sibling I longed to reunite with. Every rustling leaf, every mysterious shadow felt like echoes of her presence. The deeper I went, the more I found myself haunted by her memory and my unwavering desire to solve the enigma of her vanishing. Hours passed, and the sun cast dappled patterns on the forest floor, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish reality from my sister's fading ghost. The journal she had kept, its pages worn by time, held cryptic entries hinting at a secret she had uncovered in the woods, something far more sinister than any legend. I read about a recluse, a madman who had been stalking her, a man known as the Forest Phantom. His presence seemed to have driven her deeper into the forest, away from safety, and I was determined to unravel the mystery that had claimed her. As the night settled in, I found myself at the edge of a desolate clearing, a place where the forest's shadows seemed to converge. A gnarled ancient tree loomed in the center, adorned with strange symbols, a chilling omen of the danger that lurked here. Next to the tree lay my sister's journal, her words painted with trepidation and urgency. The journal unveiled her experiences with the Forest Phantom, a malevolent figure whose unsettling presence had tormented her and led her further into the heart of darkness. My heart raced, and I sensed that I was not alone in that eerie clearing. A subtle rustling nearby, too deliberate to be the wind, sent shivers down my spine. My sister's words came back to me, her descriptions of the looming figure, his face hidden beneath a hood, his steps eerily quiet. I realized with a sinking feeling that the Forest Phantom had discovered me, just as he had discovered her. With mounting terror, I retreated into the shadows, clutching my sister's journal as if it were my only lifeline. The symbols on the tree seemed to glow with an otherworldly energy, as if warning me to escape this perilous place. The forest phantom, a sinister specter in the moonlight, emerged from the darkness, his malevolent intentions clear in the glint of his eyes. Fear gave me a burst of desperate courage, and I fled, backtracking through the labyrinth of trees, the compass that had once guided my sister leading the way. I heard the phantom's malevolent laughter echo through the night as he pursued me relentlessly. Hours passed in a blur of panic and determination, and at last, the first light of dawn bathed the forest. I stumbled out breathless and exhausted, the forest phantom's sinister laughter fading into the distance. I had escaped the clutches of the enigmatic killer who had haunted my sister, and I was filled with a strange mixture of relief and sadness. The forest had stolen my sister, but it had given me my life back. As I left those haunting woods, I knew I would carry her memory and the tale of the forest phantom with me, a chilling story of survival and the relentless quest for answers.